What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Episode 2, Season 2. Lasha and Pablo, Strikeout Bros. Here we go. Here we go. Today's episode's name is going to be Are the New York Mets Ready? And I'm going to see if Lasha understands what that means. Are the New York Mets ready? What's going on, Lash? What's going on, Lash?
What's up, man? Another week,
mm,
another episode. I know exactly
mm,
what you're talking about. Are the Mets pretenders or real contenders, or is what we saw last year just an anomaly, or they is that who the Mets really are as far as they're really here, they really show up, they're gonna play, they're gonna take this uh National League East by the storm, and or the whole National League. Maybe it'll be 1-2 with the Dodgers. Who knows? But so far, it looks good, man. I know I was joking with you earlier, saying how bad your pitching staff is,
no,
but
no, no. You weren't
they've
joking. You
been
weren't joking.
great.
No, tell me. Let's backtrack. See, now, yeah, I was going to get you, so you decided to put yourself out there, right? You put yourself out there because you already knew the guns were lined up, right? So,
Fire
when you were
away.
driving, first of all, let me tell you what this sucker was doing. This sucker was driving, right? He said, "Yeah, Mom, I'm on my way home. We're gonna start recording soon." Yeah. He's like, "Atlanta sucks. They need pitching. Oh, the Orioles suck. They need pitching." This is him driving, right? And then he had the nerve, and then he says, "The Yankees suck too. They need pitching. The Mets, the Mets need pitching too." I said, "Hold up. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. The Mets do not need pitching. If anything, we have too much pitching. All right." All right. Look, our pitcher today, right? He was gonna go for game number 3, but he didn't pitch so well today. He had a little hiccup. He didn't do so well. Tyler McGill, he's still the man though. This guy, I think he's going places. You know what his ERA was prior to the game start? It was .87. You know what his ERA was after he left in the 5th inning with no outs? .63. Okay, so I'm sorry, bro. He didn't get the win, but the pitching is still there. All right. I'm sorry. We don't have the
No,
problems
they
you
were
have.
there. No, they the reason why Mets lost, they just the offense couldn't score in the when they while he was still pitching. That's why they lost.
Yeah.
But that's
But
not
we
on
had a
his
shot.
fault.
Yeah, but we had a
And the
shot to.
bullpen came in and kind of messed it up at the end. But
Oh, the
that's gonna
bullpen,
happen.
Mister. You talking about Mr. Diaz? Yeah, he definitely came in and
That's what I
he
mean.
fucked it up. Yeah, he fucked it up real good for us. It was 2-0.
He's a part of the bullpen.
And the bullpen. Besides Mr. Diaz, Mr. Diaz is having problems. I don't know. Last time out, he hit 2 batters, and then he got out of it. And then today, it's like walk a guy, throw a wild pitch, get that guy a second, and then home run. I mean, what the hell? I don't know. But whatever. We won 5 out of 6 in our first homestand. You can't beat that. I would have wished that we could have gotten the win. That would have been a double sweep.
Hmm.
But no.
Against
Because
your division rival.
that would have been nice. But we got Toronto. Those guys, those Miami. Miami guys are tough, young cats. Played like 6 rookies the other day, all together. For the first time I think in history. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. They really, said we're gonna rebuild, and that's what it is. But that's some nerve talking shit about my team and their pitching. We don't have a pitching problem, sir. What we have is a whole bunch of big names, and I think that when we get it together, we're gonna definitely succeed. Beatty, this guy needs to get sent down. He sucks. We gave him, 2 days in a row the other day. See if we can put it together at second. I think Acuna's a better, man for the job over there at second, while McNeil, gets back to the norm or whatever that is. But we shouldn't play McNeil at all. We should just leave Acuna there and let him figure it out. That's what I think. I think that that's the future right there. I don't think McNeil is even part of our team anymore. He's always been hurt when it counted the most. I don't know. But Alonso, though, what do you think about Alonso? Just in case you've been under a rock, I can give you the numbers for Alonso because I know you've been under a rock and you don't understand what's happening, but I do. Yeah, let me explain something to you. Alonso is batting .333, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, right, to start the campaign, right? This is the guy that, nobody wanted, and look what he's doing. He's playing his job and doing his thing. He's doing his thing. You can't even Hate on that guy. He leads the team in all those numbers. Explain that to me.
No, he's been great, man. He's showing the Mets, hey, listen, I want to be here long term, and at the end of this deal, I expect you be the front runners to sign me a long term deal. He likes the Mets like him, and he's gonna say, all right. And also, he's gonna let Steve Cohen know, okay, your risk was worth it. It was worth it, and I'm gonna show that your risk paid off. It's just like a job. When a job hires you, they don't look at the reward; they look at the risk. Every person is just the way it is. But if they get something good out of that person they hired, then great. It was an at plus. Same thing with Pete Alonso. If you get great numbers from him, great. If you don't, you can just let him go. But in this case, he's going to now. You have no option but to sign him because uh, Vladimir Guerrero just signed a big contract extension with Toronto Blue Jays, so I thought maybe he could be a potential first baseman for the Mets, but that goes out the window. But
Out
anyway,
the
back
window.
to Alonso. I think it's great because what I'm hoping for is that one, he can stay on track, but if he does fall off track, Pete Alonso, that then Lindor starts to get hot, and when he gets hot, it's okay because then you know what do you call it? Alonso can figure it out if he ever gets in the cold streak, which I hope he doesn't. But for now, it's great. He's been carrying the team while Lindor starts to slowly get hot. You know how
Yes.
Lindor is, man. The weather
No,
gets
but
he gets
yeah,
hot.
but it's happening
He had a good
faster
game
than.
the other day. He had
Yeah, exactly.
a base hit in a game time situation, and they
There you
scored.
go.
So he
It's
came
getting
through when it
better.
needs to.
Yeah,
And
he did.
for the Mets, that's all you need. Come up big in clutch situations. And Lindor is a clutch player. Soto's been doing okay. He's had a couple home runs, nothing amazing yet, but he's gonna get there. Like I said, he's gonna get warm in the Mets when the weather gets hot. So it's gonna be a home run barrage at City Field
Yeah, be
in
careful.
the next
Yeah, be
2 months.
careful. Be careful.
But it'll be interesting how they do. Like you said, Toronto looks so. They made the Toronto Blue Jays look so silly, and in my opinion, the Toronto Blue Jays they have a good lineup and they have decent starters, but the offense can't do anything. They just Baltimore played Toronto before you guys, and we split the series, but we pounded them, we beat them up too pretty well too. But it's interesting with Toronto, man, because they have great offense, and I just don't know why they can't contend. It's so weird. They always fall every year, but what
I
are you
don't
gonna do? But
understand it.
the name of the story right now is the Mets. They look good. They're taking advantage of a division where Atlanta's struggling like crazy. Washington has been a surprise. They just, they took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. It looks like.
No, the Phillies
Miami's
did that.
tough, but
The,
you beat Miami 2 out of 3, so it's okay. Um, Miami split the series with Atlanta because they got rained out in Atlanta on the last day. But
yeah,
so Miami's tough, and the Phillies are the Phillies. They're not going anywhere.
they just finished taking a series from the Dodgers, bro.
Yeah,
So
and now
they're
they're playing
showing.
Atlanta.
They're showing who's tough, bro.
So if
Yeah,
you're the Mets, since you're in first place, you gotta keep winning, winning, winning. Try not to fall behind because it's hard to come back when you fall behind. But if they continue to win and the pitching holds up, the key to the Mets is their pitching too.
their
Um,
pitching is amazing right now. I can't believe
right
how
now, it's
amazing
great.
they are.
Right now, it's great. So enjoy while
Well,
enjoy
I'm
while you
gonna
can.
enjoy it. Let me explain something to you. First of all, their ERA right now it's probably a little lower now. 2.02. Okay, leading the league. All right. This is the team that has. We have a couple of names here and there, but nothing crazy. We don't have a Randy Johnson type dude in there. We don't have a Scherzer in there. We don't have a Verlander. We don't have a Cease, a Burns. We have these guys that they come to work, they put on their pants, and they throw the ball. And they're throwing the ball really well. Okay, and this is the Mets doing it again for the second season in a row. So they know what they're doing at this point. I'm gonna go that far and say these guys know what they're doing with the pitching rotation. And next year when they do it again, I'm gonna be like, yeah, sure, let's see. I can't wait to see what they came up with, because this is what they're doing right now. They're making, they're looking at guys, and I see what that guy has, and I'm gonna make him even better. But you know what? The reason that works is because these guys don't have big egos. That's what I like about this rotation. This rotation goes out there and they throw the ball. They don't have these crazy big egos. They're not trying to impress anybody. They're not doing anything special. They're just going out there and doing their job. Now if the Mets approach a Corbin Burns, right? 'Cause he was a free agent, right? This past off season, and they said to Burns, you know what? We like what you have, but we're trying to enhance that. Are you willing to be a participant in this? Of course, he's gonna say, "You're talking to Corbin Burns. You remember? I don't need your help. I just need your money." You think that's how Corbin Burns approaches a situation like that? Or do you think he's willing to listen? Or is it just better to get somebody that doesn't have an ego and have
I don't
fun with
know,
it?
but I don't know. It's hard to tell if he has an ego. He only played with the Orioles for 1 year, but he definitely wanted the money. But
Money, exactly. He wanted the
um,
money. So with money, big,
so if the Mets gave him the money and not Soda, he would have went there too. So it's all about money. But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, I guess ego does play a part in whether you decide,
To decide that your mechanics aren't good
whether
enough, you're
you.
willing to let somebody tinker with your mechanics.
Yeah, I don't know because he's considered a true ace, Corbin Burns, and
Exactly.
he hasn't like really fallen off. So he's like, my stuff hasn't gotten bad. I haven't gotten bad. Why would I
Hey,
listen to
tinker.
somebody
Yeah,
else if I can
yeah.
just stay at it's like that saying, if it ain't
If
broke,
it
don't
broke,
fix
don't
it.
fix it. Yeah, of
But
course. I understand that.
so now if in a situation he got worse all of a sudden, he lost it, and they're like Arizona came ahead, listen, man, you gotta get your stuff together, man. We're paying you a lot of money. Then he might be like, all right, yeah, let me get myself together, figure it out because that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean,
But
but it's
baseball's one of those
guaranteed.
things where like they're not gonna. It's not like football where they can cut you and the money's not guaranteed. In baseball, most of it's guaranteed. So
Yeah. So it's
so
like,
I don't know. I don't think, but
yeah, I don't know how, but think about it. Okay, so
who knows?
perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example then. So like last year, right, when they jumped on Severino, gave him a chance, right? So obviously they saw the potential, they saw what happened, he lost his job with the Yankees, right? So they're like, you know what, let's give this guy a chance, and I think we know how to fix him. And that's exactly what happened, right? Same with Sean Manaea, right? I'm not saying Sean was like broken. He was a really good pitcher, right? But they made him an excellent pitcher. You know, it's that kind of situation. This is what I'm talking about. This Mets organization definitely knows what's going on. I think in the pitching department, I'm impressed with them. I like it. Well, and the whole. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, like I said, you gotta give a lot of credit to your catcher Alvarez because he's the quarterback of the pitching staff. He makes all pitching goes. He knows how to catch all these pitchers. He knows what kind of pitchers they throw, how to catch them, and he knows how to frame the ball the right way that helps them. And people forget, catcher plays a big role. It's a two-party dance. It's not
No,
just the pitchers.
100%. We
And
can't wait for him to come
he's
back.
been great.
Man, he's been out. He's been out. Our catcher now is Torres.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
He went like
Torrens is
8 games in a
doing okay,
row. He's doing great. He's doing
and
great.
he's doing okay with the bat too.
Oh, he's doing okay with the bat. He's hitting it hard. Sometimes it doesn't fall, but he's hitting it hard. But
There's effort. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
there's
like
definitely
he's
no.
striking
Yeah,
out.
no. We don't strike out. I got a couple of stats for you, man. You're not gonna believe it. But anyway, let's talk about. I want to talk about Vladimir Guerrero, right? So the Toronto Blue Jays come to Citi Field, right? And obviously, there's the problem where Vladimir not being able to be extended by the Toronto Blue Jays at this point during the series. So, and he had given Toronto a deadline. The February 18th would be the last day he would speak about getting extended, and then after that he would just play baseball and hope for the best after that. But that's not how it went down. So I'm thinking, Vladimir Guerrero goes into Citi Field with the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are scared, because now, Vladimir gets to look at the stadium a little closer. He gets to look at the players. He gets to look at the lineup, the rotation, and he kind of sees what Cohen's vision is. And with Alonso there and seeing the way Alonso has been producing lately, it's pretty obvious that Alonso could easily be moved to a DH slot to accommodate for Vladimir. Especially in a situation. Let's happen to say that we end up in the NLCS again against the Dodgers, right? Obviously, we all know that the Dodgers spent a lot of money this offseason, and they're even better than they were, right? When they won a championship. So now we end up facing that beast again. Not only do we end up facing them again, they're better. So did we get, to where we needed to go to compete against that animal, or do we need to go get a Vladimir Guerrero to come back the following year and really take that beast heads off? The head off, because this is ridiculous. Imagine if they win again this year, they're gonna go out there and get some more. Like it's crazy. So what do we have to do? Become a super team just to compete with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't. Cohen probably doesn't want to have to do that if he doesn't have to,
I don't want to see that.
because way the way rich people stay rich is they're frugal with their money. They don't just because they got the money, they mean they're not gonna waste money on things they don't need to buy. And then same thing with the Met. To it for him, this is just a toy. This is not his main source of income, but he has to be smart because his goal is to try to win a championship without having to have superstars. It'd be like the Dodgers or the Yankees in the past, where you have a $500 million payroll, and because you got all
Yeah,
these guys, and then he learned from Steve Cohen is smart. He learned from his mistakes. That's why he bought out Verlander and all those other guys.
sure.
And Scherzer, because he paid all that money, it didn't pay off. So he's like, we tried that route already, paying all these guys money, it didn't work out. Same thing with DeGrom, and now, you know what? Not paying these guys all this money, not paying all these pitchers or superstars all this money. Yeah, they did pay Soto, but you don't have a lot of money tied. You don't have like a large portion of your salary attached to like three main players. That's what the Dodgers have right now. It's not good. Betts,
Freeman,
Otani,
Freeman.
Yamamoto, all these other guys, Freeman. They have a lot of money tied to these guys, and so it makes it harder to go get other pieces if you need to, but they'll find a way to do it. But so I think that's the way the Orioles are approaching it too. That's why they're not going hard on paying a lot of money to Corbin Burns and all these people, because they're like, let's see if we can just do what we have and see, because they know that they have at least three superstars in the long run that you're gonna have to sign contracts to. If you're definitely gonna want to keep Gunnar Henderson, you're gonna want to keep Rutschman, and you definitely want to keep Holiday. Same thing with the Mets. You gotta give Alvarez to catch a big contract. He's your core piece now.
Of course.
Alonso, he's gonna be your long core piece. He's gonna sign a DR. That's my opinion.
Of
That's your
course.
core piece. Who else? Acuna. If I personally, I don't going back to the Acuna and Beatty situation. I don't know why Beatty's still here. I don't know, like if they home a favor or something, but
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
they're not giving Acuna enough chances. I don't know if maybe they're not impressed with. I don't know what it is they're concerned about, but if they give Acuna a chance, I think he'll run with it and he'll do well.
I think so
And he'll
too.
be a future second baseman. You have Vientos at third, Alonso at first, and who's your shortstop again?
Lindor, bro.
Lindor. That's right. Sorry,
Who's my
brain fart.
shortstop again? Wow.
I forgot. I'm not paying
Who are
attention.
you? Where are you?
Anyway, Lindor is your
Lindor.
shortstop. So if you have those guys, Beatty's just very suspect on defense, and he doesn't have a
He's
good bat.
trash.
He's
He
just a line
fumbled
drive
today. He
hitter.
fumbled the ball today with a
Yeah,
double play to get
and
McGill
it was an
out of
easy
it.
play too. It
We
wasn't like
saw it,
a
right? Yeah, it wasn't
crazy.
hard. Yeah,
It's
he
not like
just
it hopped
fumbled.
over his head, and it wasn't
No.
like literally. It was like a 5-year-old could make the play.
Yeah,
But he
it was
gets
easy.
nervous. I think he gets shaky, or I don't know what it is. And the guy, guy that hit the ball, it's not like he was running. It's not like the guy even thought it was gonna be easy out. That's why he was kind of trawling down to first base. He wasn't trying hard, but because Beatty messed up, he got there safely. I was like, man, if Beatty
Yeah,
had just
it's
gotten
crazy.
to it, he could have made up for the mistake and still gotten the guy out, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
it gets in his head. I guess it's a lot of pressure. I probably get to my head too,
Yeah,
but still,
he wants the job so bad. He knows that McNeil's around the corner,
he knows
and somebody has to go down.
yeah, he knows there's a lot of pressure, and he knows this is his last chance, at least with the Mets, if he wants to be a true starter.
Obviously.
So I don't
Yeah,
know what the
so
problem is, but Uh,
He's not
Mendoza
gonna be a
needs to
true
just pull the
starter.
string now.
He will never be a true starter for the next couple of years if you think about it. Because McNeil is there. McNeil is on the contract. He will be a bench player. This is why Acuna is the better option because Acuna can play the infield. He's fast, and I see a bright future for that kid. I think that he's the future of the team. I really do. And if we get him on base and he's in a steal for us, come on, man. I want to see 40, 50 from that kid because I know he can do it today. But we have to get him on base. If he's on the bench, you can't steal, right? So if anybody's listening to our amazing podcast, with Lasha and Pablo, Strikeout Bros. If anyone's listening, please send Beatty down. Or send them to the Orioles. They're not going anywhere anyway. So what's the point? Send them to the Orioles.
I don't want Beatty. We got Gold Glover at third base. We got Ramon
Let's
Urias.
send
Come on, man.
McNeil and Beatty. You can have them for free. We'll
I don't
pay you
want
their contracts.
neither. Well, McNeil, no, we have a second baseman.
You don't want McNeil.
We got Holiday.
I would do. Oh well, McNeil
Holiday and
might be
Gunnar
better.
Henderson.
McNeil might be better than Holiday right now.
If McNeil was outfielder, then yeah, I'd take it. If it was like a Nimmo,
he is. He's a true left fielder. You know that McNeil is a true left fielder.
But he plays infield sometimes.
He plays second base.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But no, thank you. I'll pass.
Not even for left field.
No.
You see why?
Huh? Because you got Heston. You got the rookie Heston Kjerstad. You have Cedric Mullins, and then you have Tyler O'Neill, the guy who just gave, a 3-year deal. So I think they're gonna, and they got a guy coming up too. So they think they're not trying to. Maybe as a backup, maybe that'd be a good bench player. See, McNeil would be a good bench player in my opinion. Somebody you can rely. He come off the bench. He have him batter two. Come up in a big situation, I think he could be an asset. But as everyday starter, no.
Trash, bro.
But I don't know. Maybe he's like Lindor. He starts out slow. Maybe he'll get hot as the weather. Who knows? I don't know. But defense, I don't know. I don't think the weather has anything to do with the defense. Offense is a little different because the ball carries further when the air is warmer and thinner. But McNeil's just been awful. Beatty's been awful, but it's not going to hurt the Mets. It's not going to hurt the Mets.
It's not going to hurt the Mets to do what? To do what exactly? What are you talking about?
It's not going to hurt the Mets even if he's doing bad. It's not hurting them.
Now, right now, it's not, but
that's what I'm talking about.
That's an automatic out. I don't want to see Beatty in the lineup before. It's pointless.
Well, he's not going to play him. And Mendoza's smart. He's not going to play him unless the only way he plays him, if he's the last guy off the bench and it's a big situation and he's the only guy they can use, then he's the type of guy he'll bring in if it's like the 12th or the 13th inning and the game is dragging and you need something and he's your last piece on the bench.
He actually does that on every game, 8th inning, 9th inning, depending on how the game is playing out. He'll swap players out to give players some time. He does that every game, actually, believe it or not. He's good for that. He's going to do that. But, so tell me what you think about you think that the Juan Soto / Alonso combo with Alonso protecting Soto is working, or do you think that it was better last year when, it's early in the season, but do you think that the Aaron Judge / Soto combo was a little better? And then I'll give you some numbers so you can think about what you just finished saying. But I just want to know what you think about the combination platter. Obviously, we know that Judge is a superstar. We know that Soto's a superstar. But it shows you how good of a player Soto is to be able to transform a player that we knew had potential and just needed to relax and have an objective. And now he has an objective. The objective is not to swing at that low stuff, to stay focused and try to get a walk or wait for his pitch somewhere in the circle, his little wheelhouse, right in the box. I don't know, but I'll give you some numbers when you tell me what your opinions are on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to help Alonso a lot because he's going to see the pitches they're gonna tempt Alonso. They're gonna take more risk with Alonso with Soto. So he's gonna see the pitches that Soto's not gonna see because most of the time they're probably gonna either walk Soto or pitch him carefully. So it helps Alonso. So his numbers are gonna probably go up. That's why he already has what 3 home runs already,
Yeah, he has 3
15
already.
RB. So
Yeah,
it's helped him a lot. You know what I mean? I just personally, in my opinion, I just think Aaron Judge is the better hitter between Alonso and them. But they're both powerful guys, and it helps both of them. So either way, it doesn't matter who you put.
I
You
got
know,
you. No, but it
Soto
matters.
helps.
It matters.
So
So
yeah,
it matters because think about it. My biggest gripe and the thing I was mostly scared of during the off season was, all right, we have Soto now. Who's gonna, you know, hit behind him? Like we didn't have that big bat that could just turn everything around. You know, because if you don't want to pitch to Soto, then you're gonna have to pitch to Alonso. Alonso's gonna have to get something because you can't walk him too. You know, especially if Lindor got on base already. And then Soto's behind him, or you don't want to pitch to him, and Soto gets walked, and now you have Alonso there. You know, you're like, what are you gonna do? You have no outs, right? Alonso's up to bat. You have to throw him some cookie. You have to throw something. You can't walk him too. So think about it. Let me explain something to you. Between Soto and Alonso together this year combined, they have 16 walks. And I want you to tell me to guess how many times they struck out combined together this year so far. And we've had how many 4 series. So they've batted enough times to to shit the bed, to say the least on the strikeout tip. Tell me how many times you think both of them struck out together combined this season?
combined,
Yeah, so combined they have 16 walks. How many
that's pretty impressive.
strikeouts? That's impressive. Of course it is.
I think it's about like 9 or 10 around that. Around that. I know it's not too high. Um,
It's
it's
10.
pretty
It's
low.
10. 5 apiece.
That's not
How?
bad.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know, Alonso would have had 15 by now last year by himself.
Yeah, seriously.
No, no, seriously, seriously, seriously.
Yeah, but now he's more patient because he knows the pitcher's going to be more careful, and
Yeah,
so there's a good chance that he might make a mistake now because he was the guy last year that the pitching was a little careful to. Now they can be a little more aggressive, and Alonso's going to hope that the aggressiveness on the pitcher causes the pitcher to make a mistake, and he can take advantage of it and hit a home run.
that's kind of like what's happening right now. It's happening right now, folks. I think it's a great combination platter. It's one of the ones that I look at. I'm like, wow, these two together can really, really turn this into something. McGuire and Jose Canseco, minus the steroids. I'm not gonna say Aaron Judge and Soto because Aaron Judge and Soto aren't together anymore. But Pete Alonso and Soto are. So Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. Can you name another duo like that can compete with a duo like what's happening right now? I can't think of another one right now. Two big boys like that back to back.
No, I don't know. I can't really think.
Right? You see what I'm
I
saying?
guess you could say Trout and Otani when they were together,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. 100%. But it's funny how it didn't really work over
or
there like that.
Betts, or Mookie Betts and Otani now, or Freeman and Otani. So I don't know. But as
Yeah, no,
far
no,
as
no.
like power bats, like
No, no,
Soto
no,
and
that's not the same. It's more like
Alonso, yeah, those are the only two.
now, like you said before, no, it has to be similar to like when you said Trout and Otani. That definitely, I saw it. Those are two big ass dudes. You know what I'm saying? Crushing the ball because they just can. McGuire, Canseco, Alonso, Soto. I'm trying to think of another combo like that, but well, nah. Cespedes was who did Cespedes have on that team when not anybody like that. Nah. But anyway, the Phillies are still, relevant. They beat the Dodgers in the series. And I think that's the team that we're gonna have to try to smoke to get that division. I don't think that Philly's gonna give it up so easily. I think that they still have one more year before they completely fall apart and can't make the playoffs anymore. But I think this is their last year. I think that they're gonna be a little problem for the Mets. What do you think about that? They beat the Dodgers, so that means that they actually are somebody that you have to look at and say, hey, they're not done yet.
Yeah, Philly's a tough team, man. They did well against the Dodgers. The pitching staff was pretty good, and the offenses showed up when they needed to. They sent managed to silence the Dodgers, which is good. But yeah, I always say my prediction was Mets Phillies at the top of the division, Atlanta in third. Atlanta and Philly are playing each other now. Atlanta took the first game, but we'll see. There's two more games left right now. So who knows? It's still early in the year, but Philadelphia is a better offense. Their pitching staff is better than Atlanta's.
100%.
I'll take the Phillies for now. But yeah, Phillies if Harper, he starts getting hot, they can take off. Ray Muto, Kyle Schwarber's kind of been on the cool side of the fence lately, so he hasn't been done much. But
It's
if
cold
he
out there,
gets hot,
bro. It's
yeah,
cold
if
out
he
there. It's
gets
cold out there. It's cold at City
and
Field. So,
yep,
take some time. I went
no,
to the first
definitely.
series, and I'm sorry, I went to the first series, and it was cold as hell. And the balls weren't going anywhere. They would get hit really hard and then die, come right back down. It was crazy to actually see it. And you could, you're like, wow, that's out of here. Nope, wrong again. That's out of here. Nope. All night for the whole series, actually. That's how cold it was. It was cold, and I was like, those balls ain't flying nowhere. It's crazy how that works, but it's true though. It's true. So my own eyes. How about Boston? Those guys are in your division too. What do you think about them? I think that they started clicking, brother, and I think you have a serious problem.
Yeah, they took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore. They beat us up at home in Baltimore. That was the
Yeah,
first home opener, and they beat us up. But yeah, their offense is sneaky, man. Duran and Devers.
yeah. Bergman,
They got
Alex Bergman.
Bregman's been a great addition for them. Oh my gosh, that was a great under the radar signing for them.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't under the radar. For some reason, he couldn't get a job. He was one of the last of the Mohicans in the off season, and then boom, Boston says, you know what, we'll take him. And the problem was that they had a little beef over there because Mr. Devers, right? He says, when I was signed, I was told I was third baseman, and you know what, we got a new third baseman. You can DH. He wasn't having it. They figured it out somehow. Let me explain something to you. Bergman the other night, Sunday, 4 for 5, a homer, two doubles, 6 RBIs. And Devers, 4 for 4, 3 RBIs. They destroyed the Cardinals 18-7. All right, if that continues to happen, you don't have to ask yourself whether or not the Baltimore Orioles have a chance, because they definitely won't have a chance. The Yankees, Toronto, Tampa Bay, I don't think any of you guys have a chance against this team that was set up to win today. The pitching is there. Obviously, they're hitting the ball very well. I don't think that division. I think it's theirs to lose. That's just me. But you never know. Last year they were pretty close, but they failed.
Yeah, well, Yankees are doing well, but then they they went on a little 3 game skid losing streak. They lost one to Pittsburgh and then lost 2 in a row to Detroit. They came back today, but I think it's a lot colder in Michigan than it is in New York. So I don't know why, but
Yeah, it
uh,
is.
I I I I don't know, man. I don't know who has the better lineup between the Yankees or Boston. It's hard to tell. I'd say the Yankees just because they still have Judge. He's not gone anywhere. They got Volpe. They got Jazz Chisholm Jr. He's been there. They got
Hate that guy.
Bellinger, so he's been great for them. So, but yeah, the Red Sox, they're a young, hungry team. They're exciting to watch. They're gonna be a handful, and their pitching staff is not that bad. They got Garrett Crochet. He's their lead ace on that staff, so he's been good for them. And their bullpen is not bad. So they're a surprise team. They're a team that no one's gonna expect, and they're gonna be like the Orioles of 2023, 22. It just came out of nowhere and surprised everybody. But yeah, so I think Boston. Now, granted, the Cardinals are not an impressive team, but it still is always impressive when you beat somebody up 18-7. You know, it's
Yeah,
still
exactly.
a butt whooping, and it was in a doubleheader, so which is the crazy part. But yeah, I think I think Boston. I don't know who they're playing tonight, but
Boston.
I think
Boston is playing the Blue Jays, and they lost. They lost two
yeah,
to one
Toronto's
in 11.
yeah right now yeah Toronto's you know they're a young team. Toronto they've had a good road trip so far, so who
No, they
knows how
haven't.
long.
The road trip came through New York, and what happened? They got swept at City
Well,
Field, bro.
now that they're in Boston, it's gotten better. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
two and
got
three on
yeah.
a road trip so far in a 6-game road trip. So we'll see. But yeah, man. But anyway, Paul Skeens of the Pirates, he allowed 5 earned runs for the first time, resulting in a 5-3 loss to the St. Louis Cardinals at PNC Park on Friday on a cold Tuesday evening. Which was really surprising. I think I'm not surprised for him. You know, with pitchers, the problem with the Colts, they have a really hard time gripping the ball, and when they have a hard time gripping the ball, it takes away their ability to control where the ball goes,
No,
and so he
I
didn't have
understand
full
that.
control. The pitching speed was there, but speed is no good if you have no control because the faster you throw and the less control you have, that's how home runs occur. That's how you get beat up, and that's why he got beat up that day.
Yeah, no, no, no,
But I'm
he
not gonna
didn't.
worry about it. He didn't get beat up,
No,
but
he didn't get beat up. No, but
for
you know
her
what it was?
standards, yes.
It's the first time ever. Okay, because when he was in the minors and he was in college, this never happened to him. He never got lit up for 5 runs. That's getting lit up for Paul Skeens. You know, Paul Skeens. Nobody scores on Paul Skeens. All right. So the fact that it's never happened to him since he's been in college is pretty incredible. You know, no team has ever gotten more than 5 runs on him, which is crazy. That's what's so amazing about that. You know, he's gonna be okay. I think he's gonna be okay, and I think you're 100% right about what happened. And he was unable to keep control of that ball. But we got a hit of the week, obviously, like always, and we have a pitcher of the week. And I'm gonna let you handle that.
So our hitter of the week is
Who is it?
Ivan Herrera of the St. Louis Cardinals. On April 2nd against the Los Angeles Angels, he had he was 3 for 4, 3 home runs, a walk, 6 RBIs, and 3 runs. And then unfortunately, 2 or 3 days later, he's on the IL. He's gonna be out for a while. He got hurt.
Wow. So he went
I
out
was
with a
like,
bang.
ah. And
You
they finally found a catcher that might be good
to
ever since they
take
lost
over.
Yadier Molina to
Really?
retirement. So it's crazy um, how that happened. And then our gunslinger of the week is Martin Perez of the Chicago White Sox, who are like one of the worst teams in the majors.
Yeah, but look what he did.
He had a good outing against the Minnesota Twins, who are not that great either. On March 31st, he went pitched 6 innings, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, and 9 strikeouts.
That's crazy.
It's just
That's a fun time out
crazy.
there for him. Yeah.
Today I was watching some of the games. There were several games like the Pirates went like into the 7th inning with getting a no hit, and then they finally got a hit. The Yankees are getting no hit for a while. They finally got together,
Yeah. So what the Mets, bro?
and so the Mets. It was crazy. I was like, are we gonna get a day where like we have 4 like no hitters today? It's like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
This is
So
gonna be
what
hard for me
that's.
to choose next week's pitcher of the week, but I
Yeah.
got some homework to do after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. You probably do. Cause
But Yeah, but the White Sox are god awful. Oh my goodness, it's
It is a
terrible.
bad.
But for the fact that that he got it is just impressive. But it just tells you, you just need to have one good night, and who knows. And he
Yeah,
just happened to have a good night, Martin Perez. But
good night.
who
Yeah,
knows?
that's a great night, man. Listen,
Yeah,
I love it for him. But the Mets, it's funny you said Minnesota's trash, right? And so is Oakland. Oakland just won their first game at home recently, and it's crazy because that's where we're going next. We're going to that little Shake Shack over there in Sacramento.
Sacramento,
Yes,
California.
can't wait to see that action unfold. Right, and then after that we go to Minnesota. So hopefully we can just like come back with 6. That'll be awesome. And man, that's not gonna happen. But it's nice to wish. But I have a trivia question for you. This one, you should be able
Fire
to.
away.
I might be able to pick this up. All right, I got the top 4 here, right? And I'll give you a little hint if you need it. But the question is, who has the most RBIs this season, right now, as we speak? All right, so I got the top 4. I just need give me 2 out of 4, and I'll be, that'll be a W for you.
I only can give you top one, Aaron Judge, just because he's had so many home runs. And
How
then,
many do you think? How many do you think he has?
RBIs?
Yeah, bro. That's the
Well, I would
question.
say Alonso and Judge. I know Alonso's, excuse me, since Alonso already has 15 RBIs, he's got to be up there. And then
Uh,
Judge, he had one game, he had like 7, 8 RBIs in one game, so he's got to be
yeah.
at least 20.
All right. Judge has 18. Alonso has 15, third.
All right, so I was off by
And Kyle Tucker
2
is number 2 at 16. And
of
one of
the
your
Cubs.
boys, yeah, and one of your boys is on the Orioles is number 4. You know who that is?
On the Orioles, it's not Gunnar Henderson. He just came back. It's not Rutschman. Tyler O'Neill, the
No,
outfielder. No?
Cedric Mullins with
Oh,
14.
Mullins. Yeah, he's had a good. He's had a good start. He's been slow, so that's good to see him doing well. But their problem with Baltimore is they have no pitching, and they just lost their best pitcher, who was their starter, opening day starter. He's out for a while. Kramer's been awful. Eflon is gone for a while. But it's all right. They recently signed Kyle Gibson. He had a great year with the Orioles 2 years ago, and I hope he gets a chance because he seemed to do pretty well. So I'd plug and play him. But they just called somebody else. They called in a minor league pitcher from AAA to take Eflon's place. So we'll see how they go. But they're in some serious trouble, the Baltimore Orioles, because right now the offense is not as the offense is inconsistent. Some days those hit 12 home runs or 12 runs, and the next day they score like nothing. Like today, we lost 7-0 or 9-0 to the Diamondbacks. So it's been a really bad road trip. They went 2-4 on the road trip. So it's what it is. But season's still early. I'm not gonna hit the panic button. It's a long way to go. But
it's a long way to go, but you don't look good though. And then
no,
and the problem is that you guys are, you guys should have been knocking on somebody's door, but it's not happening right now. It's just like it's a little weird.
yeah, well, I kind of like that. I'm kind of glad it's happening because now it's forcing Michael Elias's hand to like, okay, I now really have to do something. I can't be cheap. And I have an owner who's got money. He's not the Angelos anymore. He's the owner. He's giving me carte blanche. So now he's like, all right, now he's gonna get pressure from the owner. Like, hey, come on, dude. I didn't buy this team just to be back to the 2000 wars where we're trash.
You have to spend.
Yeah, you gotta spend. You want to be contenders, you gotta spend. Yeah. So what? You gotta give a prospects. Whoop-de-doo. So far, all the prospects they gave up for the Corbin Burns, they haven't been amazing for the Joey Ortiz and I forgot the pitch they gave up, but they haven't been lights out for Milwaukee. So what? And the guy Kyle Stowers, who they gave up for Tyler Rogers in Miami, he played against you guys today. He's been all right. He's a good outfielder, but he's not lighting it up for Miami. So doesn't mean see that's why prospects, it could go either way. You don't know. So stop holding on to things. If he can get you something better in return, who cares what the other prospects do in somewhere else? What matters is your own team. Is it going to help your team win? Great. If not, then don't make the deal. But yeah, they're going to have to get at least 2 starters because they're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. But this is the end of the show.
Yeah, man. Good show.
Talking, definitely a good show. Listen, man, for that trucker out there that's listening to this, the guy that's driving from Cali
Don't worry, you're not
to New
alone.
York, you're not alone, brother. From New York to Cali, or from Cali to New York, and you're like, you know, listening to the Strikeout Bros talk some shit about the Mets and the Baltimore Orioles, a little bit of the Atlanta Braves and the shitty Yankees. You know, I mean, that's what you're into. You know, whatever. We're here for you. But you guys have
Right
a
now, the
good
Braves
night.
are winning 2-1, so I'm
There
happy.
you
So
go.
I'll
That's
take it
what I'm
what it
talking
is.
about. Look, yeah, I'll take that. You know why? Because this way it knocks down the Phils a little bit. We're gonna have to pay the Phils at the end of the month. This,
In Philly or New York?
in New York, bro.
Oh, so they come to you first. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch that. I want to see what because that's a little rivalry there that I like to watch because after what happened last year, a lot of things happened. The
Yeah.
Yankees, the Yankees couldn't even believe what was happening on
It'd
that
be
side.
nice for the Mets to light up Taiwan Walker or what's the Walker
I like
and
Walker,
Wheeler. Oh my
Wheeler.
God, how amazing! That'd be a great matchup. Wheeler
Nah,
and
it's
Walker, and they
all
both get lit
history. Yeah.
up.
Nah, it's gonna have to go down like that. It's gonna be fun to watch because a lot of expats pitch over there, so it's gonna be fun, bro. I love it. But you guys have a good night. I'll show you do what you have to do.
See you next week, guys. Thanks a
Exactly.
lot for tuning in.
Peace. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.